Hey guys, I wanted to talk briefly about the topic of friendship and I would say, cultural, um, not really pressure, but I guess it's cultural, I would say, because not all cultures necessarily have this. Sorry, one second, there we go. Regarding the concept of having a best friend. And I personally, I've had a number of different best friends through the years, from when I was like a little kid to like kindergarten, up through the years into adulthood. Obviously, I currently do have a few what I would call best friends. And a number of years ago, one of my good friends, who I considered a best friend at the time, brought something important up to me. And at the time, I didn't want to hear it. That thing was that, the problem with labeling somebody a best friend is that, like, by doing that, you are isolating all your other friends. Like, you're putting a particular individual on a pedestal. So you're putting all this pressure on that person to, you know, be there for you at the drop of a hat all the time, or constantly communicate, which, I'm personally guilty of. I guess you could say I'm an attention addict, if you will. So I like the idea of somebody, consistently texting, calling, daily is nice. But you know what? Everyone has a life. They shouldn't have that pressure to, always text or always call. Not that they shouldn't do either thing, occasionally they should communicate still, obviously, because if they don't, it's a little hard to keep in contact. It's a two-way street, and I'm not innocent when it comes to, going quiet occasionally. I will have spouts where I do go quiet, where I'm not, like, constantly chatty. And that's okay. If I do become really quiet, feel free to poke me and say, hey, hello, are you alive? Everything okay? That would mean a lot too. But I've just been thinking lately what this friend said, how she personally didn't like the idea of, a best friend, especially even when it comes to like social media. And I'm guilty on, you know, I guess you would say, like, over gushing about the individual on their page, for instance, as an example. And now that I've thought about it, I thought I'm feeling convicted on that, because, like, to all that person's other friends, it's like the equivalency of, like, going neener neener neener, like, I'm closer to them than you are, like, you know, like, throwing it in their faces, and that's not nice. Like, that's like devaluing those other friends that probably feel equally as, like, valuable to that friend, to that best friend. So I don't know, I just felt really convicted on it recently, like today, for some reason. I just thought, like, first of all, it puts too much pressure on people just, like, to be the end all be all friend. And not that you can't have a close friend. I mean, obviously, we want to have people in our lives that we feel comfortable to bare our soul to really, be honest and, like, know we can go to them about anything. And not that I don't want to come across like I don't value or don't appreciate those individuals in my life I consider a best friend. Like, I love them to death. Like, so I don't want it to come across like I don't value the closeness with that individual or with those people. But then I thought, when it comes to, like, social media and, labeling that person as your best friend, I thought, like, gee, how does that make other friends of that person feel? Honestly, it would make me feel like poop. you know? It made me feel like crap because I think, like, well, gee, what am I to them? Do they care about me? Do I mean anything? Um, so yeah, I don't. That's just really hitting me today for some reason. I don't know why. Like, we can all have different levels of friendship, whether it's like an acquaintance, a friend, acquaintance, a friend, best friend, and then there's like kindred spirit level, which to me is above a best friend. So like there's like levels of friendship of in depthness, but like not having to label it. Also, with the whole best friend label, if you will, the problem is a lot of times we we label a friendship as such, and then it's not always equal or even, like communication wise, or how much, time and energy you're putting into the friendship. Um, Whether that person, is going through a tough time, they may not have the energy or desire to be overly communicative necessarily. Not that they don't care, they still care. They just don't have the time or the energy to put as much effort into it. Which, how do I put this? Part of me, I want to be lenient and understanding, and the other half of me feels like screaming. Because it's like, I don't want to just have a one sided friendship here. Like, that's not a friendship. that's like, that's not a friendship at all, honestly. That's not even that's like acquaintance level, honestly. But I know this is sort of a conglomerate between, the whole topic of friendship and the whole label of best friend. And I guess what that friend, who I'm still friends with, this person, hi Jackie, love you. Um, but it made me think. Like, I don't want I don't want someone else's friend to feel less than just because I, you know, gushed about how much I missed the mutual friend, I actually recently reached out to one of my best friends privately to thank them for, consistently always, commenting and engaging, like being supportive. Yes, it's on social media, but just thanking them, letting them know, like, hey, I notice how much, you do comment and, reach out to this mutual friend of ours. And I see it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means a lot, that you're there for her, which true. And I'm not trying to become friends with this other person, but I just wanted them to know that I do notice, and it makes a difference. Because if I notice, other people notice, and obviously the mutual friend notices. um, and I think they were like a little surprised, like, okay. And I'm like, I hope it doesn't come across weird, but I just wanted you to know I noticed, I appreciate it, means a lot. Yeah. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on the whole concept of best friends, what that entails. Everybody has a different viewpoint on what they consider, like what attributes equal a best friend. So some people, are very extroverted, chatty, very, sort of in your face, constantly wanting to do this, wanting to do that, very active. Other people are more quiet, reserved. It takes a lot to get them to open up, even if you've known them for forever. So everybody, personalities are different, communication styles are completely different, and that could be part of the problem. Some people are more, they're not into the phones. They're not into talking on the phone. They may not want to text. Maybe they want to hang out in person. And if you're long distance, obviously that ain't gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But so there's a lot of things to take into account. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. But yeah, I don't know, I have a few people that I consider best friends, and I know there's other people, and this is why the whole label is no bueno, because, like, there's people in my life from my past that consider me a best friend, but it's not necessarily reciprocated from my end. Not that I don't care about the person I do, but like there's there's not that equal, we're not on the same page with how we view the friendship, if that makes sense. But no, I just find that interesting as well, and that there could, boy, sorry, I don't know why my face is so stinking bright red, and then my neck is like ghost white. But anyway, so I don't know. I was just thinking about that, and like, I want those people I'm close to feel special. Like, I don't want to take that away. But then, like, the whole label, ooh, you're my best friend. Like, I get when you're like little kids, but like, I don't know. It just, and I know if there's anybody that I'm close to that watches this, they're gonna be like, what? We're not best friends? We're still best friends. But I guess it's more just how to approach it when it comes to social media and communicating, and not making other friends of that individual feel less than because you're close to that person. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking, which I tend to do. But let me know what your thoughts are on that. I don't know. I felt convicted, and I thought I'd talk about it a bit, see what everybody else thinks. But yeah, I think socially, there's that pressure to, oh, who's your best friend, or oh, are you oh, are you friends, and then there's always that one friend that latches onto you that's draining, and you're too nice to politely like say great but no thanks, like nicely, which yeah, that can be tricky. But yeah, hope everyone's having a great afternoon on this Tuesday. And it is stinking cold outside. So yeah, I am keeping nice and toasty warm inside. Hope everyone has a great afternoon. Bye, y'all.